You're a bit scared. Wow, how nice. I was enjoying my time sitting with you, as all you could do is stare into thin air, but when there were words, you spoke of how you felt. I thought that was great. So I did get some exchange, some feelings with you. Thanks, Dad. Dad, I'm not sorry you lived. Just so thin, not much flavor. Other than watching you with your first son, well, that was another thing, wasn't it? The two of you had nothing more to do than fix a greasy mower. I was not interested, jealous. I was disgusted with both of you. Did you know that I wanted to fuck your wife? Well, speaking of that, I loved your relationship with Mom. I think you were as real as you could be with her. Mother always seemed happy. You were available enough for her to love. You know how we were always talking. She never once complained about loving you. So that was good, I guess. I liked when you were out there and playing in that dance band. And I was happy to know that what you hated about that was that you didn't have time to dance. Fuck, Dad, that was stunning. You were a player, but frozen. Couldn't you have said, hey, I'm going out to have a few dances with all those pretty women? No, you quit instead. You're a fucking coward. I was fooled into thinking you were somehow deep because of your quietness. You also wanted to be an inventor. That creative bug in you. Fuck, that's cool. But not a thing. No, the only thing was you quit playing and you never invented a thing. I loved your garden, although it was just food. You were a cheap bugger. No plants, just for the sheer beauty. Yet a gardener to die for. I'm learning to be as excellent as these things aren't dying. Well, I'll tell you now that I was going to die. All those times I left, I was very overwhelmed. I wasn't unhappy, merely unable to live here, unable to be here. I was going to die. I just took off. You know, like those dogs were going off to die. That was what I was doing. So now you know. I am now living. I now have a good life. Dad, it has taken this many years to reach a good life. That wasn't your fault. I'm not blaming you. I would have liked to talk to you, about how we felt, how we were doing. My complaint is that you weren't there for me to be able to love. You were not present, although I describe you living this very thin life. So I missed out loving you in a thick way, as much as you were. So, I'm a therapist. Psychology guys, Now, people come into me with these beautiful forms. Not so functional, but they are beautiful. And what they leave behind are these sort of sculptural essences. And so my poems really reflect what they have left behind in me, in sort of I'm the gallery, right? So all of this is called, there's a title, The Sculptural Gallery of Human Remains. And to describe that a little bit, the ruins smeared upon the walls, abandoned carcasses, hostile winds carved upon the sensitive, emotional flesh into the human hoodoos. On one hand, he had a bird, Then he had two in the bush. He couldn't figure out for the life of him how the one in the hand was better than two in the bush. So he told the two in the bush that it is said that bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. They laughed. They said, that's been the bane of birds. We refuse to be better than two in the bush. That is why we rarely see birds in the hand. Now, my fence is indeed too high to see into the neighbor's yard. But if I stand in a chair, I can see fine. I often stand there for hours waiting for something to happen. So this man came up to me while playful, wouldn't speak. So I threw a ball which he had dropped at my feet. He ran, retrieved it, brought it back again, dropped it at my feet. Again I threw it, and we played for some time. I had to leave. I tried to tell him that I had to go. He had to go home. With all of my trying to tell him that he was not to follow me, he did. He came into my home. I fed him, put out some water for him. Later, I went to bed. He slept at the foot of my bed. He came with me on the morning walks. I thought I might put up a notice in order to see if anyone had lost this man. After a week, I got no response. I decided to keep him. I still have it. He sleeps at the foot of my bed, goes on Sunday walks. It's a great companion on lonely nights. Now, this is a bit of a sad one. My friend Bob had a day off. So we spent the day together, but we didn't know what to do. So we went down to the river, and he said he could see to the bottom, and I said, so what? And he said, I bet you could walk across the river very easily. And I said, you should try it. And he said he would. And so he started out, and it was good to a point. And then the water was getting deeper, and he seemed to be drifting down the stream quite swiftly. And then he went under, and I never saw him again. And that was too bad, because I don't have that many friends. I went to my new friend's place. He was telling me he was very disturbed with all the meat eaters. How it made him sick, all those animals being raised for slaughter. Yeah, I agreed. He invited me over to have a meal. I looked out of his kitchen window, and there was the garden. He told me that he grew almost all of his own vegetables. I sat hard on the chair, looking at the raw, washed vegetables laying there. He grabbed a carrot with top still on, and he bit off the end. I told him I had to leave. How anyone could do that was beyond me. Not even properly killing or obscuring the view of the knife, but eating a carrot alive, biting off its bottom without even giving a damn. I make sure they're dead. Feeling nothing, plus what is worse than growing them in a garden in rows. They aren't stupid, of course they know. They're being raised for us to eat. Yeah, some humanitarian.